Hare Krishna. So we continue with our discussion on how to raise children in Krishna consciousness. Yesterday we discussed the Kumara period of the life, which is from 0 to 5, and we mentioned how important it is to raise children even before they are conceived, by being really good devotee. At least we should try to be good devotee. Because as we explained, that Gurur na sasyat, Swajano na sasyat, Pita na sasyat, Janini na sasyat, Devan na tatsyan, na patishya sasyan, na mochayat yaksamupiti mityum. That no one should become a guru or father or mother or husband if he is not able to deliver those who are dependent on him. So we should know that this is great responsibility, to be in charge of anyone, to help anyone in his life. So it's not everything that we provide for the family, to have something to eat and to have roof above the head. Of course, this is necessary, but the most important thing is to give them love for Krishna. If we miss on this point, then we put our dependents, either children or wife or disciples or anyone like this, in the lap of death. Yes. Hare Krishna, it's confirmed. So, and this is in fact the greatest disservice to our dependents. We may think we give them everything, but if we miss on this point of giving them Krishna consciousness, we missed everything. Yes, because they're just rotating in this material world. And of course, as we know, this material world is full of misery. Even if we get some pleasure, as Krishna explains in 5th chapter of Bhagavata-gita, this is the source of misery. The pleasure of this world is not giving us real pleasure, but is source of misery. Dukkha yonaya. Gives birth to misery. Yes, because it has its beginning and its end. And we should know that we are all pleasure-seeking living entities. This we should always have in mind, that we always seek pleasure. And also our children are seeking pleasure. It's natural for every living entity. Even an ant goes to sugar because wants to experience pleasure. We all want to experience pleasure. But in the material world, we want to experience it in the wrong way. And therefore, instead of pleasure, we get misery. Yes, it is explained by Prahlad Maharaj in 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya sankalpa iha karmana sadapnoti haya dukkham anihaya sukhavrata. That in this world, people are having sankalpa. This means really firm determination that they will achieve happiness. Sukhaya, that they will be happy. And dukkha mokshaya, that they will be liberated from dukkha, from misery. But, Prahlad Maharaj says, Satapnoti haya dukkham. They always get just misery. They have firm determination to be happy and to get rid of all miseries. But all they get is misery. It's crazy, isn't it? But anihaya sukhavrita, those who are devotees and don't seek pleasure in this material plane, they're always happy. They're covered, enveloped in happiness. So our most important service is to make our children devotees. There is no higher service than this. And for example, Jesus was asked, what is the most important commandment in the Bible? And he said, to love your God with all your heart, with all your existence. And to love your neighbor as yourself. So, if you really love your God with all your heart and all your existence, your soul, then you love your neighbor, of course, as yourself. You want to give them love of God. So if we really love, are striving to love the Lord, we are trying to develop Krishna consciousness, we should also understand that we should give this to our children. Yes, and this is the most important service. And everyone should have a mission in life. Without a mission, we are dead. As it was said by Martin Luther King Jr., he said that if one doesn't have something to die for, he has nothing to live for. So, everyone should have a mission. And usually mission comes along with our ashram, by nature. So if we are brahmacharis, we should study scriptures, follow the orders of spiritual master, live and serve him very menially and submissively. And if you are vanaprasthas, we should get detached from this world, and also study scriptures and preach. And of course, if you are sannyasis, you should be completely detached and just go around this world to give Krishna consciousness to everyone. But Bhagavata-dharma, as explained by our acharyas, is to have children. And so his foremost mission is to give Krishna consciousness to children. Because everyone gives Krishna consciousness if he's Krishna conscious. Brahmachari, by studying, it means he's preparing for giving Krishna consciousness to everyone. And of course, vanaprasthas and sannyasis are prepared to give Krishna consciousness to others. And grihasthas should be also prepared by going through brahmacharya and so on to give Krishna consciousness to others. And of course, most important is to give Krishna consciousness to their children. So, this is a small introduction. Yesterday we discussed how to give Krishna consciousness to small children in Kaumara period. And there was one question online. Where is this devotee? What's his name? Brian?
It was from Shireen Mataji, and she asked about that. How is it nowadays that sometimes the men stay at home and the women go to work and go to a career? If that is beneficial for the children or should not be done?
This reversals of roles it's not beneficial because we have different nature. everyone has its own nature, as we explained yesterday. Cow has a different nature than a Brahmana. This is gross example, but is illustrative, because everyone has its own nature. And women are more emotional than men. It's widely known. It's not a secret. And men are physically more powerful than women, usually. There are, of course, exemptions to this. Women are really powerful bodybuilders and power lifters. Of course, they are more powerful than many men, but they're less powerful than men power lifters. So we have some nature, acquired nature, and children have their own nature. It wouldn't be wise for children to go and have a career 5 years old child and care for the family, and mother and father would be at home. It would be crazy. So women's nature is to be emotional, and she should use this emotional nature in Krishna consciousness. It's not something bad. Maybe sometimes we think that to be too much emotional, it's bad. But it's a nature. And every nature should be engaged in Krishna consciousness. So by this nature, a woman can easily care for the child, because the nature of being emotional is to give love and to nourish the family with love and, of course, with food. Because we have a saying, I don't know, it's also here in Germany, that love goes through belly. Is there any saying like this? Stomach, yes. Yes, goes through the stomach. So, yes, it's, as I explained yesterday, if there is no mother at home, the home is cold place. Because father's nature is different. Maybe some men are more emotional than others. But as explained also by psychologists, modern psychologists, that man usually, if tries to be emotional, then he switches off intelligence. And this is detrimental for a man, and also for his wife. Because man should be the support for emotional wife. If he is emotional and he switches off intelligence, he's no support for his wife. And if he's not emotional, he cannot give this love for a child. Of course, he loves a child, but not in the way the mothers love. It's a different kind of love. So it's not beneficial for mothers to have a career and fathers to be at home and caring for small children. This is father's nature, and he really loves to do this. But women don't love to do this. They don't love to support their husbands. In fact, they would despise their husband if he wouldn't provide for the family. Yes. Then and she wouldn't. Prahlad Nrsimha ki jai. She wouldn't respect her husband, and this is detrimental for the relationship and also for the children. If they see that mother is superior to father, they will not ever respect their father. because they will consider him a weakling. And a weakling can never be a protector. And everyone will make fun of him. Children, wife. And so it will be a pitiable character, father. And as we will explain now about the age of Pauganda, this means the age from 5 to 10, the father's role comes into play in this age especially. Before, of course, father is there and he should teach the children what is right and what is not, because we said that usually many, even devotees, misunderstand that we should leave the child to do anything. But that doesn't mean to allow him or her to do nonsense. Of course, we don't push them to do certain things or to teach them to sit and read and chant. We allow them to play as they like, but no nonsense. No putting your finger into the electric socket or jumping over the cliff. Or these are gross examples, but that we should have the idea that that not everything is okay. So if a child want to put a funny hat on some devotees or the lecturer, it's not proper behavior. So he or she should be told this is not good. And they are intelligent living beings, they understand easily. But they should feel that you are in charge, that you mean that you stick to your words, and you don't allow them to make nonsense and to be disrespectful to parents and to other people. They should know this and they should feel this. Especially, they don't just accept words. Not at all. They're not just verbal living entities. They're wholesome living entities. Because nowadays, we hear many times, you should just speak to the children very nicely. And this is ludicrous. Yeah. Because we reduce the child on a verbal being. But the child is not just a verbal being. Of course, it's a verbal being, but it's wholesome being. It's physical, emotional, spiritual being. So we should use all his existence also in teaching the children. So he should feel our energy. Don't do this. And if he doesn't listen, you should grab him or her. Don't do this. No excuse. And this is the role of a father, because mother is soft and emotional and can be easily cheated. Yes, easily cheated. That's why Prabhupada explains that women should be protected all the time, because there are many cheaters outside. And if the cheater knows how to play on women's emotions, they will be cheated easily. And all the commercial, modern commercial, is based on cheating women's emotions. Because there is always some happy woman in a commercial. Usually not men. And this for items for men and for women. There is always a woman there who is very happy, who has a happy family, and they kissing the child and full of smiles and so on. And so every woman would be wants to be like this. And therefore, if I use this type of shampoo, I will be like this. Yes, please.
But for men works different. There are also women involved, but you put a half-naked woman on a car,
Yes.
and the man is cheated. He thinks, if I get this car, I get a woman also.
Yes, because men are more sexually orientated in exploiting women. So there should be a pretty girl, not dressed very properly.
But happy. She should be also.
Yes, of course, she should be happy. Happy for you, especially.
Happy to be on the car.
Yes, and that you are approaching this car.
Yeah.
Yes, she's happy that you are approaching this car. And she hardly waits for you to come. Yes, this is the mentality. So men should have firm intelligence and control their senses and be very responsible and strong, especially in this age, because the modern education, when boys and girls are educated together, then the girls are more and more masculine, and they have imbibed nature from the environment, from our society, that they should follow some career and be masculine, to compete with others, to fight, and to be on their own. And men are taught to be like a woman, so so they're feminized, and all the society suffers because of this, and they're more and more crazy. Men in miniskirts and and high heels and crazy. So men should be now even more powerful, because the many wives have this idea that yes, my husband should be feminine, full of emotions and soft and so on. But such a man will be despised by her wife. She will not ever respect such a husband, because she, by her nature, biological nature, she needs protection, because she is weaker, and she has small children, and therefore she is weak, and their children are also weak, and they need protection. This is biological program. And if the man is not powerful, she will not be respected by his wife, never, because she needs protection. Yes.
Question to this topic. It's maybe a touchy topic, but what do you think? How much physical force should a man display, especially towards children? What is allowed? What is not allowed? Because we hear often that Prabhupada said, never use the stick but show it, or something like that. So, what's the experience? Or should I ask Nimai?
Nitai. Yes, if father is powerful, And as I explained, we show this also by our energy, not just words. Then children understand that they shouldn't play with the father. And he doesn't need to use his strength very often to show that one should be a good boy. Usually boys are more difficult. Girls are usually good girls, especially if they feel that they are loved. Then they really become very good girls. They should feel love. But boys always check the boundaries. And if you just say, they will check if your words are true. If is this really valid. And if we don't enforce these boundaries, they will cross them without any consideration. So we should stick to our words. This is most important thing in upbringing, that children would know if father says something, always sticks to his word. So, and this is of course a very demanding task, because boys will always try to check if your words are true or not. And they will do nonsense. But if father sticks to his words, they will feel secure. Because if father doesn't stick to his words, then children know he's a weak guy. And if he's a weak guy, he cannot protect me. And of course, children by nature, as women also need protection. Children need protection, and they know they need protection because they are weak. They live in the world that everyone is so huge and they're tiny. So they need protection. By their very nature, they need protection. And if father doesn't stick to his words, that means he's more powerful than a father. And how can one who is less powerful than you protect you? It's impossible. So father should, if the children, boys especially, don't listen to his father should be forceful. Grab him like this. You don't mess with me. I say, you should do this like this. And I mean it. So they should understand. But sometimes, I'm sure you use computers. Do you use computer? Yes. What do you do if computer freezes? And nothing works. You press this button, nothing works.
Turn it off.
Turned off. Reset it. Yes. It's like this in children also. Sometimes nothing works. You press this button, press that button, nothing works. Then you give a slap on on behind. Yes, to reset the child. That you should know. This consciousness is not okay. You should reset. And then children understand, because they're also physical beings. They're not just verbal beings, as I said before. But if father is powerful, it's not very often needed. Yes. And then the children will respect their father. And this is most important. And about Pauganda age, we will now discuss the age of Pauganda. Especially for boys, it comes the time of military drill. Really, it's not a joke. Before, they could do anything. But when they come to the age of 5 and 6, that means they enter Pauganda, of course, not yesterday you did everything you wanted, and now it's just military drill. No, it doesn't go like this. But gradually, from some period, we should be more and more strict. It's like this: when the child goes to school, it's also a big change for a child, isn't it? So, at certain age, there is a change. And we should apply this change. So if before we were teaching the child, this is good and this is not good, this is right and this is not, then children will understand. You have some authority. Otherwise, if you don't have authority, before, when the children are in Kumara age, they will never listen to you then, when they're 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 10. No, not possible. So you have to establish your authority when they're very young. Of course, you allow them to do what they like, if it's okay. We don't force them to chant, for example, and or to read Srimad Bhagavatam. But we always invite them to chant with us, because now is the japa time, and they shouldn't disturb our japa time. They should know that this is not good. And as we said, we take them in the lab when they're in small, and we chant in their ear, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Now is japa time. He or she should know, now is japa time. And we chant with him, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the child will enjoy very much this. Yes, please.
I think perhaps with that, as a mother, there has to then be the time maybe that the child needs after. I heard some stories from Mayapur where the mother was with her children on the playground, and the children were quite violent with each other. You know, it was girls as well, you know. And so she approached the mother and said, "Look, your child, you know,
Yes.
attacked my, you know,
Yes.
I'm chanting." You know, and she kept with this, and even when she was finished, it was almost like an excuse, she said. So
Yes.
it's like a healthy balance of
Yes.
being proactive.
Of course. That's why I said that we should have a firm sadhana. That means that we chant together in the morning before the day starts. Not that we are catching our rounds all day long. I explained this before. We should live like this, exemplarily sadhana. We should completely dedicate to our chanting. Put away the phone. Put everything away. Now is time for chanting. In the morning, when everything is calm, no one is outside, we are chanting. And we teach to chant like this also our children, that we completely dedicate to chanting. Otherwise, our chanting is an offensive chanting. It's not proper chanting. Of course, we can also chant when the children are playing, but these are our extra rounds. And if we see that children are doing nonsense, we should immediately put away our japa and correct our children. This is our service to Krishna. Yes, we should understand this, that we should have exemplary sadhana and dedicate the time just for chanting, for nothing else. Yes, and when the children are entering Pauganda age, they should chant. They also have to chant. They should have their japa malas, maybe small one, but they should have their own japamala. Even in Kumara age, they should have a small japamala. But they just play with it before. But when in Pauganda age, they should have a fixed time for chanting. So the children should chant on time, not on rounds. Because if we teach them to chant on rounds, we'll teach them to cheat. Yes. So we should set the time for chanting, because we cannot cheat the time. Time is always the same. So we start, of course, not with 2 hours of chanting. We start with, I don't know, 10 minutes. And then we gradually increase. For example, we can increase for every Kartik, or for a birthday, or Janmashtami. Something that the child knows, by this date I will chant more. The best is, of course, something like Kartik, because it's beneficial in Kartik to increase our devotional service. Also for us, for grown up people, it's beneficial to increase slowly our devotional service. So Kartik is very beneficial for this. And when Kartik ends, we just continue. We don't go to our previous practice. Yes, please.
Well, because this points off on time, not on rounds. I get this point, but our children, especially Charu, is very goal orientated. And if I would say chant for 10 minutes, he would space out. I mean, it would be not as, he would more space out than say chant 2 rounds or something like that. Then he want to get his 2 rounds done.
Yes, this is okay. If he wants to chant 2 rounds and really he doesn't jump over the beats.
He's very thorough like this.
Sorry?
It's very particular.
Uh-huh.
So he's quite.
Okay. Then if we know our children's nature, then it's okay, no problem. I know that many children are goal oriented. So also our children were goal oriented. So I put a sadhana chart. Yes, a sadhana chart, and if the chanting was very nice, they got a sticker of Krishna, and or if the chanting was not as good as it should be, but was still okay, then they got a black and white sticker. So Nitai really liked this, and he tried really hard to get colored stickers on this sadhana chart. And also like this for reading, and because they should have time for fixed time for chanting, fixed time for reading, and it's also beneficial to write a diary, because then they will learn how to express themselves.
But the kids should learn how to write a diary.
Yes, to write a diary. The kids. Yes. All my children, they had to write a diary. They, of course, many times they wrote just nonsense. But nevertheless, they learn to express themselves, and it's beneficial to be literate from the earliest childhood. So in Pauganda age, father should be very strict to the boys, especially to the boys. And they should have strict schedule, strict everything. Everything they should have some duties to perform, even to help their mothers to I don't know to bring out the garbage or anything like this, to wash the dishes, to wipe the floor. And many times, because mother has a lot of her work also, she considers that this helping of their children, of her children, is taking her more time of her work, because they don't do everything properly, because they are learning to perform their duties, and so she has to teach them. And many times I can see that mothers then prefer to perform all these tasks on her own, because the task will be done properly and in shorter time. But this is not beneficial for children. They should be taught that yes, this is your duty, you should perform this duty, not your mother, but you. And of course, all these rules should be enforced by a father. So father should be really powerful personality. This is really important. If he's not, the family will be in mess. And if a mother should enforce the discipline instead of a father, she'll become hysterical. Yes. So father should enforce the discipline. This is his duty. This is his duty. Yes. So children should have everything on schedule. So now it's time for chanting. Now it's time for Mangalarati. Now it's time for reading. Now it's time for the lecture. It's beneficial for a family to listen to the lecture together with children. We used to take notes of the lecture also. We sat together and listened to the lecture and take notes. Yes, and there should be evening program together. As I said yesterday, the family that prays together stays together. The family that sings together clings together. And the family that dances together advances together. So we should be together. And wherever the family goes, also the children should go. No excuse. Now we will do this, we will do that. And no negotiations. Because many times children want to negotiate. Yes, I will do this if I get this, or I don't want to go there or there. No. What father says, you should be followed. Without any negotiations. And there should be no this Varnik mentality, as explained, this merchant mentality. If I do this, I should get this. No, this is your duty. You get your food, and you get your clothing, and you get your everything, but no conditions allowed. Yes. And this is father's duty. If father doesn't perform this duty, this is the greatest disservice to his family. And no one will be satisfied. Of course, in the beginning, looks that this is really hard and not pleasing to have a strict discipline. But this is happiness in goodness, as explained by Krishna. It looks like poison in the beginning, and it's nectar at the end. But if we just follow our senses and what is pleasing to our senses and to our mind, looks like nectar at the beginning and poison at the end. So we should be intelligent enough and to know what is beneficial and what is not. Yes. So this is the time for being strict. And if the children, because this is a very funny fact, and it's true, because if you're not strict during this time, from 5 to 10, in the age of Pauganda, because children are not as crazy yet in this period. So we can theoretically tolerate their behavior. But when they come into teenage period, they will become intolerable. And if we want to enforce rules at that time, they will just smile and do their own, or they will never listen to us if we didn't enforce our authority in the Pauganda age. So this is a critical time to enforce authority and discipline. If we miss this, we missed completely their life. Yes, because they will never respect us in their teenage. Never. And they will just do their nonsense. It's impossible to enforce them. But usually many parents think like this. Devotional or non-devotional doesn't matter. Many parents think like this, that they can, then they realize that my child is crazy, especially if the children are going to school. And as I heard that it's impossible to homeschool your children here in Germany. So they will definitely will have crazy association, because everyone is crazy. Yes. If one is not a devotee, he's crazy, as explained by Prabhupada. Yes. He wrote this essay, Who's Crazy? Everyone who is not a devotee is crazy because he thinks he's the Lord. Yes, and everyone wants to be the Lord. So yes, because you have this situation that children have to go to school, then you should put much more energy into upbringing of your children. You should take your time for them. Much more time if they would be homeschooled. Because then you always have to give them right perspective on everything. And therefore, it's crucial for children to know tattva, to know the Siddhanta, Bhakti Siddhanta. Yes, if they don't know Bhakti Siddhanta, they will think that this is just the religion of my parents. And nothing worse can happen than this. If the children think, and this is just religion of my parents, then we blew up completely our upbringing of children. And if we don't devote our time to teach them tattva, to teach them what is Siddhanta, what is pure devotional service, what is mixed devotional service, and that we should just follow the process of pure devotional service, then they will go their own way without devotional service. And as I said yesterday, usually it is, if we are not strict with ourselves, and if we don't, that means that we have strict sadhana ourselves. And if we don't teach children tattva and siddhanta of pure devotional service, they will definitely, it will be more difficult for them to become devotees than for karmic children. Because they have these experiences, that this is not something serious. If parents are catching their rounds all day long, and they do other things during their chanting, scrolling over the phone or talking with other people during chanting, they will understand that chanting is burden for my parents. And as I said, that we are all pleasure-seeking living entities. So the child would think, I don't want to be burdened. I want to enjoy. I want to be happy. And my father or my mother is not happy by chanting. This is just a burden for him or for her. So I don't want this burden. I want to enjoy. But if the child sees that you completely devote your time for chanting in the morning, and that you're reading, and that you're listening to lectures and so on, then he or she will understand. Yes, my father, my mother believes in the process of devotional service. He's really serious. So this is crucial, to be exemplary ourselves and to teach them tattva and to have strict discipline, especially boys. Especially boys. Yes. Okay, any questions? Comments? Yes, please.
Thank you, Prabhu. It was very nice to hear these details. I wanted to only say a small comment what I somehow recognized a little bit by myself. I mean, I'm for sure I don't have children and wife.
Yes.
Sure.
Hope so.
I see a lot of similarities in the brahmacharya ashram. It's for sure a different platform, on an adult platform, but it's also similar when the young people are joining, and that you are a little bit more, how to say, not so strict with them, and then after time to time you have to, because then there are different things, but it's very similar how to deal with people. I mean, in this way like with children, but in this way with adults.
Yes, children are easier to be taught than adults.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's more also, it's like it's an open thing, it's not a closed thing, like if, I mean, it's somewhat like a family, but it's not this.
Yes.
To be very sensitive people. But thank you, it was very nice ideas.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you. According to relationship between father and mother, I don't know if this is more in the previous age, in Kumara age, but what do you recommend? How, because it's very important for the kids to grow up. I think, how is the relationship between father and mother to show in front of the children?
Yes, they should have a loving relationship, of course. And they should never oppose to each other in upbringing their children. If father says something, this is sacred. If mother says something, this is sacred. I always told my children, what your mother says It's sacred. You should follow without any excuse. Yes. So they should support each other, especially in front of their children. They should not go against each other. If mother says something, father shouldn't say, yes, it's okay, you can do this, it's no problem. No, your mother said like this. Don't fool around. And if father says something, mother, who is usually more emotional, shouldn't say, oh, this is too much for a child. You can do it like this. No, your father said like this. So you should follow. Whatever your father says is sacred. And whatever your mother says is sacred. They can discuss later on, but not in front of their children, what is really good and what is not. But when in front of they are in front of their children, they always stick together and support each other. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for insightful lecture. My question is connected with the topic of negotiating. Is there some space for like discussion or negotiation after the 10th year of the child? Because maybe I see it as like important skill to learn also, like to negotiate and discuss.
Children are perfect negotiators. No need to learn especially. and yes, we will discuss tomorrow this age, quite shorter age from 10 to 15. But during Pauganda age, there should be no negotiations. Your mother said that you should wear this dress, and no negotiation that you will wear some different dress. Or your mother cooked this and you should eat this. No negotiation. No sweets before. Before this. When you finish this, what your mother gave you, after this you can get sweets. But not large amount of sweets. Enough that you're satisfied, but not too much. Because I can see, even among devotees, there are many children completely pale and unhealthy. They eat just sweets and they don't want to eat anything else. It's crazy. Yes. So no negotiation. Because if we negotiate, it will not stay at this point. They will always try to increase their demands. And if you're not strict on one demand, then you will be overrun also in their next demands and next demands and next demands. No, because children, there are two types of pursuing happiness. There is shreyas and prayas. Prayas means what is ultimately beneficial, and it's usually connected with discipline and so on. If you want to, I don't know, become a golden Olympian, you should train very hard. No excuse. Proper food, you should have proper sleep, proper everything to become a golden Olympian. And this is prayer, shreyas, what is ultimately beneficial. And then it's prayas, what is what brings immediate satisfaction. And usually in modern age, they're very much oriented into this one, into prayers. What is pleasing to the senses usually. And children have no long-term intelligence. They are very intelligent, but for immediate pleasure, for immediate satisfaction, not for long-term, because this is too much, thinking 10 years ahead or 20 years ahead. But parents should have this perspective. And they should know this is good for you, this is not good for you. And no negotiations. Especially in this age. Pauganda age is the training age. Before they're too small, they can do what they like. Of course, no nonsense, as we explained. And we should establish authority. It's extremely important to establish authority during Kumara age. If we don't establish authority during Kumara age, then we will not be able to establish authority in Pauganda age. What to speak in Kishore age? Not possible. So authority starts in Kumara. Then in Pauganda is training. And Kishore, then we start to give more and more trust on our children, that they can think and act properly. But this is, of course, the outcome of all our efforts from Kumara and Pauganda period. If we miss our duties in this period, they will never act properly in their teenage. Not possible. So, in Pauganda age, there is no room for negotiations. Yes, yes, please.
I think that what I hear also in this discipline is that there is a lot of still care from the father behind it. It's not discipline out of anger or
Yes.
coldness. And
Yes.
I just wanted to stress that because one has heard in the past of children being forced to chant and cry and all sorts of different things, but it felt like it was very cold. And how traumatized, adult devotees.
Yes, this is extremely important. Thank you for mentioning it. If we don't teach our children in Kumara age what is good and what is not, and give them these pleasurable experiences of chanting, as I said, we take them in our lap and chant together. And if they know that this is a time for chanting for whole family, then the sadhana will be just like eating. As we eat, we have also sadhana. This will be completely natural for them. Really. It won't be something enforced on them. Because all our family does like this from my earliest childhood. My mother, as I said, this folk song Slovenian, do you remember? From yesterday? Slovenians,
till we die?
Yes, something like this. I'm Slovene. That's what my mother said when she cuddled me in her lap when I was a baby. And from cradle to grave, my faithfulness, my fidelity will not waver a bit. So whatever your mother says, that goes much, much deeper than any philosophy, than anything else, and sticks to grave. So if mother is chanting during breastfeeding, and even during pregnancy and so on, then children will be permeated with holy name, and they will stick to holy name till the end, because they will connect the holy name with love, with nourishment, with security, if they know it or not. They will always seek refuge and shelter in the holy name. So yes, we should do our job properly, not force them. We didn't teach them anything in Kumara age. We didn't establish authority in Kumara age, and then we suddenly force them to chant. It's crazy. The children will rebel. They don't want to do this. And if we are heavy at this time, just suddenly, and we are not example ourselves also, then it's a recipe how to disgust Krishna consciousness to our children. Yes. Then they will be disgusted, and they will just wait the time that they can go away and from Krishna consciousness and never come back. That's why it's so important to understand our duties, to establish authority in Kumara age, to establish discipline in Pauganda age. And the discipline, of course, is also applying to sadhana. And of course, most disciplined should be ourselves. If we are not more disciplined than what we demand from our children, it won't work. It won't work. So, most strict we should be to ourselves, and then to our children, and most lenient to our wife. Yes. Hare Krishna, is this okay? Hare Krishna. Anything? Yes, please.
Krishna Guru, thank you for this nice class. My question would actually be connected with yesterday's topic also, but maybe also with this age group now, because yesterday you said that Brahmachari should be friends with children also. We'd just like to know what exactly this means, so playing with the children or just chanting with the children, or what are the interactions actually?
Yes, we should always be friends to our children. When they're in Kumara age, when they're in Pauganda age, when they're in teenage, in Kishore age, and when they're in Yavana, they're young, we should always be friends with them. But this friendship is, of course, showed differently in different periods. So we should always go together. Wherever family goes, everyone should go. This is important. If we go to the nature, and I said yesterday, it's not beneficial to have fun outside of Krishna consciousness, because they will connect. The outside is enjoyment, and in Krishna consciousness is not so much enjoyment. No pleasure parks and so on. If we go somewhere, we should. It should be demanding. For example, walking in the mountains or in the nature. So they should put some effort, not just enjoyment. And enjoyment, sheer enjoyment, is in temple. Prasadam. And in temple, they are allowed to take as much prasadam and what they want. Yes. Just to finish my answer, that we should be friendly and go together to nature, together to wherever we go, we should go together. We always went together, everywhere. Yes, this is very good. And I think that I'm a friend to my children. And I think that also they conceive me like in friendly relationship. Yeah. So, yes, we should be friends. But like an older, experienced friend, not just on the same level. Because we are so much older, so we are not friends of the same age, and we have experienced many things in our lives. So we are experienced friend. Yes, and we will discuss this role as experienced friend tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah, to Subbal's question, I think he's asking what is his duty as a brahmachari to be friends to, for example, our kids.
Aha, as a brahmachari. Oh yes, thank you. Yes, yesterday I said that it's really beneficial if the brahmacharis are friends to our boys. We had this fortune in Ljubljana's temple that there were many brahmacharis at the time. They're not so much now. And they were really friendly to children. And there is a magician in preparing food, Lalit Govinda Prabhu. He's inventing different delicacies. For example, he's famous by his ice cream. And also other sweets and not just sweets, everything. He's expert, and he feeds children with this, and children love him very much. And there were also other brahmacharis who were strict brahmacharis, and they were very friendly to our children. And they treated them like their friends, like to be one of the brahmacharis. In the same way, not that they're small children and we should play with you like with small children. No, they treated them like one of them. Was it like this?
Yeah.
Yes. And children are really like this, that they're accepted as one of the team. For example, Nitai was allowed, this was also this brahmachari, elderly brahmachari in charge of Padayatra, Slovenian Padayatra. And he allowed Nitai, who was a very small boy, to lead this huge ox, this really huge ox. So Padayatra is one program which is very beneficial for children. It's fun, but it's also full of Krishna consciousness, chanting of the holy name, distributing books, distributing prasadam. Yes, really beneficial to be friends with the children. But of course, brahmacharis should be friends to boys, not mixed with girls. They should be, of course, friendly to girls, but on distance more. And brahmacharinis should be friends to girls. Yes, this is also important, and that the girls are accepted as one of the team. Yes.
Now I have another question. I don't come to my original question. Okay. Okay. To this point, sometimes some brahmacharis, because especially Charu, he loves book distribution.
Yes.
Was very good. And sometimes they go on Sangedan, like to Passa or something for the
Yes.
day, and they're asking us, can Charu come with us?
Yes.
And I'm always hesitating because I can't come because I have, especially on the weekends, I have different duties as same as my wife.
Yes.
So they say, well, it's no problem, we look after him, but I'm always hesitating. What would
They
be?
lost. They did lose him. I was there, but they.
Oh,
I
yes.
was there, but he was with the Sankirtan devotees, but they got carried away. So I wanted to give some distance, and then I was like, where is he? So I had to search for him. I think.
Yes. If the child goes with some brahmacharis like this, then one of the devotees is in charge for his safety. So he should always stick to the child. Never leave him alone somewhere. For
Yeah.
Which they did.
huh?
Which they did.
If they're not as responsible to be always with the child, then the child shouldn't go if we cannot go. But if we can go, then we should also go and encourage this in our child. And of course, we should always be with the child. We shouldn't allow him to go just on his own.
Yeah, we had in Leipzig times, we had a very unfortunate example that one brahmachari, basically who was with the child, misused the child. And maybe I'm also a little bit
Hesitate.
burned by this
Yes.
experience. So I'm very careful.
Yes.
If I can't go, then. But on the other hand, I know Charles would he would like to do it, but I can't let.
Yes, you do what is proper.
Right now, what we do is that I go, but I try to be from a bit of a distance to give him the space,
Uh-huh.
So
He wants to distribute books alone.
I have he likes to distribute, to do it alone, but and the brahmacharis encourage him.
Uh-huh.
So
So you can distribute prasadam along with him. He distributes books and you distribute prasad.
I take care of the younger one actually. He
Oh,
would
yes.
happily distribute prasadam or eat it.
So if you don't have full trust in someone, then you cannot trust your child to such a person. Not possible. So either you go with him, and this is of course very beneficial, or he cannot go. I can't have such another recommendation. No.
Yes, so my original question disappeared in my head. But I think it's also time is over.
Yes, time is over.
For this knowledge, that's very important to have experienced. Oh, I got my question because you said, okay, let's go. We said there should be no fun outside of Krishna consciousness, and you stressed this yesterday. I listened to your class yesterday, but I could not come. But we also saw, Nita is a good example, but we also saw especially kids who are brought up in a very much more strict, or what we consider a strict environment, let's say Gurukul, Mayapur, even other Gurukuls, where there was no anything outside of Krishna consciousness. And then in this moment where they're let loose, they went full on it.
Yes.
So
I think maybe it sounds heretical, but I think that these modern gurukuls are not beneficial too much for the children, because in traditional gurukul, children went to a guru's home, and guru was a grihastha, and this is yes, for example, and the role of guru mata, that means the wife of a guru, was to be like a mother for their children, for the disciples of a guru. And it's explained that she was bathing them, feeding them, everything like a mother. And it's even in Shastra, I'm sure you have seen this. It's forbidden that the child, the student or disciple should forbid this wife of a guru to bathe him after certain age, because she treats him like a child, but he's not anymore. For example, if he's 12 years old, he shouldn't allow his mother to bathe him. But they have this emotional satisfaction because there is mother. They live with the mother. Therefore, the guru's wife is considered one of our mothers. And there is no mother in modern gurukuls. And I think this, as I said, the home without a mother is like a crematorium. This is not a joke. I mean it. And because modern gurukuls don't have mothers, then they get a little bit crazy. We should have mothers.
So you think that's the reason why?
Yes, and they don't have this fun to go to nature with father, and father should be, he has different relationship to the child than just one teacher or some who has many children there. Father has different vibe than a teacher, and should have different vibe than a teacher. So yes, and it's not traditional environment anymore, Vedic traditional environment. So I think it's more beneficial if, of course, the parents are strict with themselves and also with the children. Otherwise, it's not beneficial to be in Gurukul or at home. There will not be devotees in other cases. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Please accept my